conversations we don't say out loud. We carry them quietly, hidden in the crowd, smiling through the pictures, holding back the truth, fighting silent battles, trying not to lose. We've learned how to hold each other when the world gets cold, raise our babies, build our dreams, carry stories never told. The love between us is a river, deep enough to heal, but every river has a current that we never let reveal. Sometimes it sounds like a compliment, sometimes it sounds like a joke, sometimes it's wrapped inside a smile, but leaves a heart broke. Side eye, why we looking sideways when we're all just trying to find our way? Side eye.
This is a BLDS, Black Lady Doing Shit production.
Black women know how to love, but sometimes we also know how to throw shade. Let's talk about the side eye. Introducing the cast of Side Eye.
Hi, I'm Nia Brooks from the show Side Eye. I'm 40, born and raised in New York. My family taught me middle-class values, but we never forgot our roots. I'm observant, honest, the friend who tells it like it is. My name is Keisha Johnson. I'm a 40-year-old New York native. I treat people with kindness, but not everyone is happy for my success. I choose to stay authentic. My name is Rochelle. I'm 41 years old, polished, and always in control. Born and raised in New York, appearances matter. I know the image I want the world to see. Hey everyone, it's Erica. Your favorite life of the party is here. I heard the latest tea about Sarah's ex. You won't believe it.
Tell us everything!
Okay, so she caught him at the diner with her cousin.
My name is Aunt Bernice. I'm 68 years old, and I've seen just about everything life can throw at you. If you need advice, a hot meal, or a reality check, you know where to find me. Hey everybody, it's Aunt Cheryl. Let's get this party started. Come on, let's dance. Food's almost ready. That's the secret, y'all. Make everyone feel like family. Love you all.
My name is Uncle Leon. I'm 70 years old, born and raised on Long Island. I believe your character should speak louder than your mouth. I worked with my hands, raised my family, stayed out of drama.
My name is Jade. I'm 27, ambitious, smart, and still figuring out where I fit in. I grew up on Long Island looking up to women like Keisha, Rochelle, and Erica. They taught me sisterhood means loyalty, support, and protection.
Bruises where another woman's heart sat, comparing every blessing, counting every scar, forgetting we're all worthy exactly as...
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rising and shining. Welcome to Side Eye. We are now entering to chapter 2. Everybody ain't smiling with you. Nope, 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 nope. Listen, here's the thing. Family will teach you a lot without you ever sitting down for a lesson. You'll learn who's always late, who brings the best food, starts the card games, keeps the peace, and who can hold a grudge over something that happened so long ago. Nobody else remembers why. They still mad. Every family has its own rhythm, personalities, and traditions that gets passed down like recipes. But if you stay still long enough, you'll learn something else too. You'll learn that everybody smiling at you isn't necessarily happy for you. That's the lesson. If somebody walked up and admitted that they were jealous, life would be so much easier. You know exactly where you stood. Instead, jealousy has a way of dressing itself up. It hides inside jokes and compliments. It slips in, It shows up as concern. It asks questions that don't need answers. Then, if you notice it or say something about it, somehow you're the one who's always doing too much. The truth is, most of us don't recognize it because we've been around it our whole lives. We hear little comments at family gatherings. It could be birthday parties, graduations, baby showers, cookouts, maybe even holiday dinners. Somebody gets a new job, and instead of saying congratulations, somebody has to remind everybody how stressful that kind of job is. Somebody buys a new house, and the first question is how much that mortgage costs? Somebody loses weight, starts a business, finds love, or finally looks happy, and somehow the conversation changes from celebrating them to picking apart the details. It happens so smooth that after a while, it just feels normal. I used to think that's just how families talk to each other. I didn't realize there was a difference between teasing somebody because you loved them and constantly finding little ways to pull them back down to earth. I didn't realize that some people could clap while they're comparing themselves to you at the same time. Most of all, I didn't realize that insecurity doesn't always come wearing an angry face. Sometimes it comes smiling, hugging you tight, telling everybody how proud they are of you. Looking back, the signs had always been there. I just wasn't looking for them. That Saturday started like every other summer cookout at Aunt Cheryl's house. The music was already playing before noon. Uncle Leon was outside guarding a grill like somebody had hired him to protect the secret recipes. Kids were running amok, running through the backyard with water guns. Aunties were arguing over who made the best potato salad, and cousins who hadn't seen each other in months were picking up conversations like they hadn't spoke yesterday. It felt like every other family gathering that we'd ever had. None of us knew that before the sun went down, a few ordinary conversations would make me see my family through completely different eyes. Sometimes it doesn't take a big argument to change the way that you see people. Sometimes it just takes you to pay attention. Welcome to Blended Healing. Welcome to the morning story time. Welcome to Side Eye, Chapter 2.
There are conversations we don't say out loud. We carry them quietly, hidden in the crowd, smiling through the picture, holding back the truth, fighting silent battles, trying not to lose.
Girl, my potato salad is the best, hands down. Oh, please, mine has the secret ingredient.
None of us knew that before the sun went down. A few ordinary conversations would make me see my family through completely different eyes. Sometimes it doesn't take a big argument to change the way you see people. Sometimes all it takes is paying attention.
As soon as I parked, I could hear Uncle Leon before I even reached the gate.
I said, leave that grill alone. Okay, they gotta look.
I wanted to see if the burgers was done.
You'll know they done when they hit your plate.
There go Keisha. It's about time.
Neither of us knew that by the end of the afternoon, the conversations that started with hugs and laughter would leave me questioning how long I'd been missing what was sitting right in front of me.
I've been hearing all kinds of good things about you. I'm just trying to stay busy. No, you're doing your thing. I see the business is treating you real nice.
So, business paid for that truck too? Had that truck almost 2 years. I forgot. You ain't forgetting.
So, how's business really going? It's going good. Busy? I don't know how you do it.
What you mean?
I don't know. I just couldn't leave a guaranteed paycheck. It was scary. There were days I wondered if I made the right decision. I would have been back at my desk Monday morning and after that. Every day.
Even Keisha, I ain't gonna lie. The first few months were rough. I knew it.
Nia, can I ask you something?
Sure.
Does Erica always do that?
Do what?
Say something nice for you and then immediately make sure it doesn't stay nice.
For a second, I didn't answer because I honestly didn't know.
The cookout begins. By the time Saturday morning rolled around, I could already smell barbecue in my mind. Aunt Cheryl's cookout wasn't just another family gathering. It was one of the most special traditions that survived everything. People moved, cousins grew up, kids became adults and started bringing kids of their own. Folks got married, divorced, changed careers, started businesses, and buried loved ones. Life kept moving. But every summer, somehow, everybody found their way back to Aunt Cheryl's backyard. I packed a peach cobbler she asked me to bring, grabbed my folding chair from the garage and headed out the door. The closer I got to her neighborhood, the more familiar everything felt. Cars lined both sides of the street. Music drifted through the air before I even turned onto her block, mixing with laughter of children running through sprinklers and neighbors calling to one another from their porches. Summer on Long Island always had its own sound, and today sounded exactly like home. As soon as I parked, I could hear Uncle Leon before I even reached the gate. I said, leave that grill alone. I was just looking, one of the younger cousins answered. You ain't gotta look. I just wanted to see if the burgers were done. You know when they done when they hit your plate. The whole backyard erupted in laughter. I smiled before I even stepped through the gate. Some things never change. The backyard looked exactly the way it always did. Folding tables stretched out across the patio covered with bright tablecloths. Coolers overflowed with ice and soda. Kids darting between lawn chairs playing tag while the older cousins stood in little circles catching up on everything that had happened since the last family gathering. The smell of charcoal, ribs, burgers, and barbecue sauce floated through the yard like it belonged there. Aunt Cheryl spotted me the second I walked in. There she is. She wrapped me in one of those hugs only Aunt Cheryl could give. The kind that made you feel like you hadn't seen her in years, even if you were just there last month. You bought my cobbler? You know I did. I knew I could count on you. You would have called me 3 times if I forgot. I sure would have. She laughed, kissed my cheek, and hurried back to the kitchen before somebody could ask her where something was. Watching Aunt Cheryl work was like watching the mayor of a small town. Every few seconds, somebody called her name. Aunt Cheryl, where's the plant? Aunt Cheryl, where's the plates? Aunt Cheryl, you got a bag of ice? Aunt Cheryl, where you want these drinks? She answered every question without slowing down, pointing people in the right direction while somehow remembering what still needed to come out of the oven. Near the grill, Uncle Leon stood exactly where everybody expected him to be, wearing his faded apron and holding a pair of tongs like they were a part of his hand. Nobody was allowed within 3 feet of the grill unless he invited them over, and everybody knew it. Ro, of course, ignored that rule. She walked up right beside him with a paper plate already in her hand. Let me get one of them ribs. Nope. I'll taste it for quality control. Nope. What if it's overcooked? It ain't. You don't know that. I cooked it. Exactly why it needs another opinion. And without taking his eyes off the grill, Uncle Leon gently nudged her backward with his elbow. You aggravating. I've been called worse. You about to be called hungry. Everybody standing nearby laughed while Ro pretended to be offended. This family don't appreciate volunteers. You ain't volunteering, Uncle Leon said. You stealing. She held up both hands allegedly. I couldn't help laugh. If there was one thing you could count on, it was those two going back and forth every single cookout. It didn't matter how many years passed. Their conversations picked up exactly where they left off. Ro turned around and finally noticed me. There go my cousin. Before I could say a word, she wrapped me in a hug that nearly knocked the air out of me. You made it. I told you I was coming. I know, but you always show up looking responsible. It annoys me. What does that even mean? You got the dessert in one hand and your chair in the other, dressed like you knew what time you was leaving the house. I did. I hate organized people. You say that every year. And I meant it every year. She grabbed my chair before I could stop her. Come on, put your stuff over here. We found 2 empty chairs beneath the shade of a large maple tree, where most of the cousins usually gathered. From there, you could see almost the entire backyard. Kids laughed near the swing set, while a few older men debated basketball like somebody was keeping score. A group of aunties sat around one of the tables talking over each other. Every story somehow getting louder than the one before it. I leaned back and took it all in. That was home. This is home. This is home. These were my people. Ro handed me a bottle of water before sitting down. You good? Yeah. You sure? I looked over at her. Why? I don't know. You just seem quiet. I've only been here 5 minutes. Exactly. Usually by now, you corrected me twice and laughed at Uncle Leon at least once. I smiled. I'm good. She studied my face for a second before nodding. Aight, long as you say so. That was Ro. She joked more than anybody in the family, but she paid attention. She noticed little things about people missed. If my smile looked different or my voice sounded off, she'd catch it before anybody else. Across the yard, Aunt Cheryl walked out carrying another tray of food while somebody turned the music up a little louder. More relatives pull into the driveway, and every few minutes another round of hugs started near the gate. I glanced toward the street just as a white SUV eased slowly toward the curb in front of the house. Ro followed my eyes. There go Keisha. I smiled without realizing it. It's about time. Neither of us knew that by the end of the afternoon, the conversations that started with hugs and laughter would leave me questioning how long I've been missing what was sitting right in front of me. Part 2, Keisha arrives. The white SUV rolled to a stop along the curb, and before the engine was even off, Aunt Cheryl looked up from the serving table and smiled. There she go. I looked toward the driveway as Keisha climbed out, sunglasses resting on the top of her head and two aluminum trays balanced carefully in her arms. That was Keisha. No matter what the invitation said, she always bought enough food to feed 10 extra people. It didn't matter if Aunt Cheryl specifically told her and everybody else not to bring anything. Keisha believed showing up empty-handed was against the law. Rochelle stood up and laughed. Watch this. Before Keisha could make it halfway up the walkway, Ro was already jogging toward her. You need help? I'm good. No, you ain't. I got it. You always say that. And by the time I reached them, Rochelle had already taken one of the trays without waiting for permission. What you bring? She asked. You ask because you hungry or because you actually care? Ro looked offended. That was disrespectful. It was honest. You see how she treat me? Ro said, looking at me. You asked for it. I was trying to be nice. Keisha, laughing, shook her head. You don't know how. The three of us walked toward the backyard together, and before Keisha even stepped through the gate, somebody spotted her. Keisha! Another voice followed. There she is! Within seconds, she was surrounded by hugs. Aunt Cheryl wrapped her arms around her first. Look at you. It's good to see you. You too, baby. Uncle Leon reached over from the grill long enough to pull her into a quick hug before pointing back toward the food table. What you bring? Macaroni and baked beans. He nodded with approval. You can stay. I was hoping so. Everybody laughed. Watching Keisha move through the backyard reminded me of something I noticed years ago. She never walked into a room trying to be the center of attention, but somehow people always drifted toward her anyway. She asked about people's children before talking about herself. She checked on Aunt Bernice before she made herself a plate. She stopped to help Aunt Cheryl carrying serving bowls into the kitchen without being asked. There was nothing performative about it. It was always simply who she always had been. The biggest difference now wasn't her personality. It was her face. For the first time in years, she looked rested. Anybody starting a business knew sleep became a luxury. It was something deeper than that. The tightness that used to sit behind her smile was gone. The constant pressure she carried during her corporate years had disappeared. She still worked hard, maybe harder than she ever had before. But now the work belonged to her. Every late night, every early morning, every risk she took was building something with her name on it instead of somebody else's. Ro leaned over toward me while Keisha was talking to Aunt Cheryl. You see it? I do. She looked lighter. I nodded. She really does. Leaving her corporate job had scared all of us. I remember the conversations, the questions, the warnings people gave her. You sure you want to give up those benefits? You know how hard it is on your own business. Maybe wait another year. That's a big gamble. Everybody had an opinion. Keisha listened to all of them. Then she resigned anyway. The first few months weren't easy. She admitted that herself. There were days she questioned whether she made the right decision. There were months when she worked longer hours than she had in corporate America. But little by little, things started falling into place. Her client list grew, referrals came in, her confidence returned. Not that kind of confidence that needed everybody to notice it. It was settled. It was something that gets into your spirit after you survive something that you weren't sure that you could. Jade walked over carrying 2 bottles of water and handed one to me. "You smiling," she said. "I am." "What happened?" I nodded toward Keisha. "Look at her." Jade watched her for a moment. As Keisha laughed with one of the older cousins, I noticed. "What?" "She looks peaceful." "That's exactly what I was thinking." Jade smiled. Peace has a look to it. Before I could answer, another car pulled up in front of the house. Ro glanced toward the street. "And here come Erica." I turned just as Erica stepped out wearing a bright summer outfit, oversized sunglasses, and enough confidence to make an entrance before she even reached the front gate. She waved dramatically. "I know y'all ain't start eating without me. You late," Uncle Leon called from the grill. I arrived fashionably. You arrived hungry. Same difference. The backyard laugh. Erica hugged Aunt Cheryl, kissed Aunt Bernice on the cheek, and greeted a few cousins, then made her way straight toward Keisha with a wide smile. "There she is." The 2 cousins hugged. "I've been hearing all kinds of good things about you," Erica said. Keisha smiled. "I'm just trying to stay busy." "No," Erica said, stepping back to look her up and down. "You're doing your thing." "Thank you. I see the business is treating you real nice." "It's been a blessing." Erica nodded slowly before glancing toward the white SUV parked at the curb. "So, business paid for that truck too?" There was a brief pause. Just long enough for the question to land. Keisha smiled. "I've had that truck for almost 2 years." "Oh." Erica laughed. "I forgot." Ro answered before anybody else could. "You ain't forget." The backyard laughed, and Erica laughed with them. "I'm playing." Ro smiled. "I know." The conversation moved on almost as quickly as it started. Most people probably forgot the comment before the minute passed. I almost did too. Almost. Because when I looked over at Jade, she wasn't laughing. She was watching. I'll be right back after this.
Hey y'all, it's me, Nia. I hope you are enjoying the story time with Blended. Ooh-wee, lots of shade up in here. Stay tuned. We will be right back after this message or whatever it is Blended do. Ooh, that was a bit shady.
This place is beautiful. Look at these. They smell amazing. Ooh, fiery and sweet. That sounds amazing. Smells incredible. Like a tropical escape. This feels like paradise.
Beach campfire, notes of black currant, tropical flowers, warm oak and frangipani accents. These are the scents of fiery and sweet.
Oh, I'm buying this immediately. It's perfect for you. I know, right? You have to get it.
This body moisture and other products are available at chamakaessentials.com. See you in the next experience.
Dang, Naya. You ain't had to put me all out on Front Street like that. Shady. Part 3. The kitchen. It didn't take long before Aunt Cheryl started directing traffic the way she always did. If you ain't helping outside, then come in and help me in this kitchen. Nobody questioned her. They just started moving. I grabbed a bowl of potato salad off the counter while Keisha picked up the tray of rolls. Erica followed behind us carrying paper plates, and Ro came in last, already reaching for a piece of cornbread before anything made it to the table. Aunt Cheryl caught her without even turning around. Ro, I ain't do nothing. You was thinking about it. I was making sure it was fresh. It came out of the oven 15 minutes ago. Exactly. Prime quality. Everybody laughed. You gonna make yourself sick eating before the food ready, Aunt Cheryl said. I've been hearing that for 38 years. And I ain't sick yet. You hard-headed. That too. The kitchen filled with familiar rhythm that only happened during family gatherings. Cabinet doors open and closed. Somebody searched for serving spoons. Somebody else couldn't find the aluminum foil. 2 conversations happened at once while another one started across the room. Nobody waited for anybody else to finish talking. Somehow everybody still understood each other. Keisha moved through the room like she'd done it 100 times. Aunt Cheryl, where do you want these rolls? On the end. You need anything else? You can refill the lemonade. I got you. She never had to be asked twice. I watched her disappear into the pantry, come back carrying another pitcher, refill the drink dispenser, and then wiped up the little bit that spilled on the table before anybody noticed. Girl, Aunt Cheryl said, smiling, I swear, if I could clone you, I would. Keisha laughed. You say that every year. And I mean it every year. Ro pointed at herself. You can clone me. Aunt Cheryl looked over. For what? The room exploded with laughter. I can help. You help yourself. I knew you was going to say that. You made it too easy. Ro grabbed another piece of cornbread while everybody was laughing. I saw that, Aunt Cheryl said. You wasn't supposed to. Across the room, Erica leaned against the counter, watching Keisha. So, she said casually, how's business really going? Keisha looked up. It's going good. Busy? Very. You got employees yet? Keisha smiled. No, it's just me. For now. Yeah, for now. Erica nodded slowly. Okay. I don't know how you do it. What do you mean? I don't know. I just couldn't leave a guaranteed paycheck. There wasn't anything wrong with what she said. Not by itself. It sounded like a normal conversation. Keisha shrugged. Keisha, she shrugged. It was scary. I know it was. There were days I wondered if I made the right decision. I would have been wondering every day. Ro laughed. Girl, I would have been back at my desk Monday morning. Everybody laughed, even Keisha. I ain't gonna lie, she admitted. The first few months were rough. I knew it, Erica said quickly, but Keisha smiled. It got better. What changed? I stopped focusing on what I gave up. Everybody looked toward her. I started focusing on what I was building. The room grew quiet just for a second, just thoughtful. I don't wake up with that knot in my stomach anymore, Keisha continued. I'm tired all the time, but it's different kind of tired. When I stay up late now, it's because I'm working on something that belongs to me. Aunt Cheryl smiled without saying a word. She knew exactly what Keisha meant. So you happy? She asked. Keisha didn't answer right away. She looked around the kitchen for a second before smiling. I am. There wasn't anything dramatic about what she said or how she said it. She was just honest. I really am. Something about those 3 words settled over the room. Everybody smiled, everybody except Jade. She had quietly stepped into the kitchen a few minutes earlier to grab another bag of ice. Instead of interrupting the conversation, she'd lean against the doorway listening. Now she looked from Keisha to Erica, then back again. Erica smiled. I'm happy for you. I appreciate that. I really do. She reached over and squeezed Keisha's hand. You deserve it. Keisha smiled. Thank you. Then Erica laughed softly. Just don't get too rich and forget about the rest of us, the kitchen laughed. So did Keisha. I ain't forgetting nobody. I know. Erica smiled. I'm just messing with you. The conversation moved on. Somebody started talking about vacation plans. Somebody else asked where the extra napkins were. The moment disappeared almost as quickly as it arrived. I reached into the freezer for another bag of ice before turning around to the door. Jade was standing there. She wasn't smiling anymore. She wasn't frowning either. She just had that look she got whenever she was putting pieces together. As we walked back toward the backyard, she waited. She waited until we were at an earshot before speaking. Naya, can I ask you something? Sure. She looked back toward the kitchen. Does Erica always do that? I frowned. Do what? Jay took a slow breath. Say something nice and then immediately make it sure that it doesn't stay nice. For a second, I didn't answer because I really didn't know. I really did not know. Part 4. The jokes that aren't jokes. By the time everybody made their plates, the backyard had settled into its usual rhythm. The kids had claimed one side of the yard for games. The men gathered around Uncle Leon and the grill like they were solving the world's problems, and the women spread themselves between the patio and the lawn chairs, catching up on everything life had thrown at them since the last cookout. Music floated through the speakers while laughter bounced from one conversation to another. Looking around, you would have sworn there wasn't a problem in sight. If a stranger had walked through that gate, they would have left talking about how close our family was. Keisha had barely taken 2 bites of food before somebody stopped her to ask about her business. And then another cousin joined the conversation. Before long, a small circle had formed around her. It wasn't because she was trying to impress anybody. People were genuinely curious. They wanted to know how she made that leap from secure corporate job to running her own business. They asked if she missed the steady paycheck, whether she regretted leaving and what advice she'd give to someone thinking about doing the same thing. Keisha answered every question honestly. She admitted that she'd been scared, admitted there were months where she questioned herself, and she admitted there were nights that she lay awake wondering if she made a mistake. But every answer came back to the same thing. I finally wake up excited about my day. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know, Erica said with a laugh as she adjusted her sunglasses resting on the top of her head. I like knowing exactly where my direct deposit is coming. A few people laughed. Keisha laughed too. Trust me, she said. I like that part too. Erica smiled. See? That's all I'm saying. Entrepreneurship look cute until them bills show up. The group laughed again. And just like that, the conversation kept moving. Nobody seemed bothered by it. A few minutes later, another cousin complimented Keisha's dress, asking where she bought it. Before Keisha could answer, Erica smiled and said, she can afford nice things now. Again, everybody laughed. Keisha smiled politely and answered the original question, naming the little boutique she found months earlier. The conversation drifted somewhere else, but I noticed something I hadn't paid attention to before. Every time somebody celebrated Keisha, Erica found a way to redirect the spotlight. Not enough to start an argument or for anybody to call it disrespectful, just enough to change the temperature of the conversation. Ro, meanwhile, was too busy arguing with Uncle Leon over barbecue sauce to notice any of it. You stingier than the bank, she complained as he handed her another rib. You already had 3. 3 ain't a meal. For you it is. That's because you counting. They're back and forth at everybody laughing again. And for a moment that attention shifted from Keisha completely. I glanced towards Jade, who was sitting quietly beside Aunt Bernice. Unlike the rest of us, Jade wasn't caught up in old family habits. She hadn't spent years learning which comments to ignore or which jokes were simply accepted as part of somebody's personality. She was watching the conversations the way an outsider watches a movie, noticing details the people inside the story no longer saw. Aunt Bernice folded her napkin across her lap and looked over at me. Baby, come sit over here for a minute. I carried my plate across the yard and took the empty chair beside her. You enjoying yourself? She asked. I am. She nodded toward the group of gathered around Keisha. She doing good. She really is. I remember when she was afraid to leave that job. So do I. Aunt Bernice smiled softly. Fear will make you stay somewhere long after you spirit unpacked its bags. I laughed. That sounds like something only you would say. It took me 80 years to learn it. 80? Aunt Bernice, you are aging yourself. You only 68. We sat quietly for a moment watching the family. The afternoon sun filtered through the trees while children chased each other across the grass. Somebody turned the music up a little louder. Across the yard, Keisha laughed at something one of the cousins had said. Then Erica spoke again. I'm proud of you, cousin, she said. Just don't start acting brand new when your business really blow up. Keisha smiled. You know me better than that. I do, Erica answered. I'm just joking. There was again. Another joke. Another laugh. Another little side comment wrapped neatly enough that nobody questioned it. I looked toward Aunt Bernice. She hadn't taken her eyes off the group. Without looking at me, she asked quietly, "You hear that?" I frowned. "Hear what?" "The little things." I followed her gaze back to the conversation. "I don't know what you mean." She finally turned toward me. "Maybe not yet." Before I could ask another question, Ro came running across the yard holding a domino in the air. "Naya, stop hiding over here. We need one more player." Aunt Bernice smiled. "Go on." As I stood up, I looked back one more time. Keisha was still smiling. Erica was still smiling. Everybody around them was smiling. For the first time all day, I found myself wondering whether every smile meant the same thing. Ashe. I'll be right back after this.
It's your girl, Rochelle, Rhoda, my peoples. Yo, that's crazy. The shade of it all. What's about to happen next? The tea is hot. Blended will be right back.
This place is beautiful. Look at these. They smell amazing.
Soft light, evening glow. She met the essential, let the magic flow. Bath and spray, a gentle start. Body butter, warm in every part. Crystals hum, charms and light.
Juicy acai berry, creamy Adriatic fig, sweet Bali mango, fresh, playful, vacation, pure tropical happiness. Oh, I'm buying this immediately. This exotic fruit body moisture smells amazing. I'm getting it. You guys have to try it. This body moisture and other products are available at chamakaessentials.com. See you in the next experience.
Part 5. The Ride Home. By the time the sun began settling behind the trees, the cookout had started winding down the way it always did. The kids, who spent the entire afternoon running without getting tired, suddenly looked like they can barely keep their eyes open. Folding chairs disappeared into trunks. Aluminum trays were covered with foil, and relatives stood around saying goodbye for another 45 minutes after announcing they were leaving. Nobody in our family ever just left. Every goodbye turned into one more conversation, one more laugh, one more hug, before somebody finally pulled away from the curb. I loaded my chair into the trunk and tucked the empty cobbler dish beside it. Aunt Cheryl hugged me so tightly. I thought she wasn't going to let go. "You made sure you took something home?" "Yes." "You sure?" I held up the container that she packed for me. "You know I wasn't leaving without it." She smiled. "Good. Call me when you get home." "I will." She kissed my forehead before turning her attention to somebody else who was trying to sneak out without taking leftovers. As I backed out of the driveway, I glanced one last time toward the backyard. Uncle Leon was still standing by the grill, talking to two other of my cousins. Ro was laughing so hard she had one hand on her stomach and the other pointing at somebody across the yard. Keisha was hugging Aunt Bernice before climbing into her truck. Erica stood nearby scrolling through her phone while carrying 3 containers of food Aunt Cheryl had insisted that she take. Everything looked normal. If somebody else had asked me how the cookout went, I would have said it was another great family gathering. At least, that's what I would have said a few hours earlier. The drive home was quiet. I rolled the windows down and let the evening air drift through my car. My mind kept wandering back to little moments from the afternoon. Erica asking about Keisha's truck. Erica joking about not forgetting the family once the business took off. Erica reminding everybody she would have never left a steady paycheck. None of those comments sounded mean on their own. I heard conversations like that my whole life. So why couldn't I stop thinking about them? A red light forced me to stop a few miles from home. I rested my hands on the steering wheel and I stared through the windshield. Then I remembered Jade's face. She hadn't laughed, not once. When everybody else brushed the comments aside, she'd been watching, listening, paying attention. Maybe that's why her question kept echoing in my head. Does Erica always do that? At the time, I honestly didn't know how to answer. Now, sitting alone in my car, I wasn't so sure anymore. How many times had I heard comments like that without hearing them? How many family gatherings had I sat through where compliments came with little disclaimers attached, where somebody's success had to be balanced with a joke, where happiness couldn't simply exist without somebody reminding you life wasn't perfect? The more I thought about it, the more memories started showing up. Different faces, years, cookouts. The pattern was the same. Somebody celebrated, somebody joked, everybody laughed, conversation moved on. I pulled into my driveway, turned off the engine, and sat there longer than I meant to. The neighborhood was quiet now. Nothing like Aunt Cheryl's backyard, just an hour earlier. I could still smell barbecue on my shirt. I leaned my head back against the seat and closed my eyes. Maybe Jade saw something because she wasn't raised inside our family. Maybe she noticed what the rest of us had learned to ignore. When you've been listening to the same conversations your entire life, you stop hearing what's actually being said. I grabbed the container Aunt Cheryl had packed for me and headed toward the front door. But before I unlocked it, my phone buzzed. It was a text from Ro. "You made it home?" I smiled. "I just got here." A few seconds later, another message came through. "Good. Next cookout, I'm beating Uncle Leon to the ribs." I laughed out loud. Some things could never change. As I stepped inside and locked the door behind me, I realized something else changed. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just remembering what people said. I was remembering how they said it. And once you start hearing the difference, it's almost impossible to pretend you don't. I'll be right back after this.
Hold up! Queen Cammy pulled up. Ghost Rider recap. Yeah.
She slide through like, what's up, fam? Let's run this back. Tap in with the city, yeah, she keep the folks on track. Got that love in her stride, got that truth in her tone. Breaking down the headlines like she's sitting on a throne. Community.
I am celebrating. Come and join me. I have a surprise for you. I am pleased to announce that I have joined the Chamaka Essentials family. Welcome to Chamaka Essentials West Coast. I enjoy Chamaka Essentials aromatherapy products, and I know you will too. You will now be able to purchase her aromatherapy products directly from me, Queen Cammy Royal Essentials, and other aromatherapy products are available. Drop me an email and arrange your product delivery options.
This is a BLDS, Black Lady Doing Shit production.
Well, I hope you enjoyed chapter 2. I hope you got something out of it. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming through and checking on the girls' new project. You know what I mean? The Side Eye. Next time we meet, we'll be meeting for chapter 3. It's getting interesting, isn't it? See how you can realize when you finally open up your eyes and your ears, how things resonate with you and how they may resonate with other people. The shade of it all. Anyway, I'm going to give you a recap of chapter 2, and I'll see y'all soon. Don't try to hold me. I got to go. There's a lot of stuff to do. Y'all be good to one another. Remember, be the best that you can be today. It may not be the way you was yesterday, but do your best. And as a friend of mine said on her show last night, matter of fact, if your soul had a microphone, what would it say? Now, if that doesn't snap you out of it, you tell me. All right. Be well, stay safe. Ashe and deep bow to each and every one of you. And I shall see you all very, very soon.
There are conversations we don't say out loud. We carry them quietly, hidden in the crowd, smiling through the pictures, holding back the truth, fighting silent battles, trying not to lose.
Girl, my potato salad is the best, hands down. Oh, please, mine has the secret ingredient.
None of us knew that before the sun went down. A few ordinary conversations would make me see my family through completely different eyes. Sometimes it doesn't take a big argument to change the way you see people. Sometimes all it takes is paying attention.
As soon as I parked, I could hear Uncle Leon before I even reached the gate.
I said, leave that grill alone. Okay, you ain't gotta look.
I wanted to see if the burgers was done.
You'll know they done when they hit your plate.
There go Keisha. It's about time. Neither of us knew that by the end of the afternoon, the conversations that started with hugs and laughter would leave me questioning how long I'd been missing what was sitting right in front of me. I've been hearing all kinds of good things about you. I'm just trying to stay busy. No, you're doing your thing. I see the business is treating you real nice. So, business paid for that truck too? Had that truck almost 2 years. I forgot. You ain't forgetting. So, how's business really going? It's going good. Busy? I don't know how you do it. What you mean? I don't know. I just couldn't leave a guaranteed paycheck. It was scary. There were days I wondered if I made the right decision. I would have been back at my desk Monday morning and after that. Every day again. Even Keisha. I ain't gonna lie. The first few months were rough. I knew it. Nia. Can I ask you something? Sure. Does Erica always do that? Do what? Say something nice for you and then immediately make sure it doesn't stay nice. For a second I didn't answer, because I honestly didn't know.
Hope you received what you needed today. Thank you for coming by and spending some time with me. Come back soon. Ashe and deep bow to you.